planet? I don't think so. All right.
Ready, set, go.
Yeah, we got them both down there. I don't think Robert got the blast. I mean, oh, he did get the blast. It was a prank. It was just a prank. Ooh, we got our first blue already. Robert's gonna win that. Now apparently Endy is playing with one hand because he decided to try to hug a cactus. Because he's a genius. Um, so we'll see how that goes. More blastage there. Both players go for the little wall hit there and another blast. Lord knows I hate this map for how many blasts there are. Nice little super speed there. And again, this is the warm-up, so I'm just getting myself ready to commentate. This is shit. There he goes. And Robert's back in the lead. Gotta pop the mega. There goes Endy. He's gonna beat him there by about a country mile. And he's gonna leave the last gem. Smart play. Next spawn's gonna be right near the middle. And another blast. Another blast, I think. Was it 2 blasts? Either Endy screwed up or Robert got him twice with the blast. And I don't know where Robert's going there. He just kind of went the wrong way. Not ideal. Another blue. And Endy's gonna snipe that one. Well done from him. He's gonna get a decent respawn out of it too. And he's already off to the next one. Screwing around with the mega. And the lead has grown to 14. So it's going pretty well. I think Robert missed that yellow there too. So he's looking like he's not really confident, but he also did say he hates this map. So I guess we'll see if that's because he's not good at it or if it's just because he doesn't like the map. Oh, well, there he goes. Oh, and it double spawns right on top of Endy, and the lead is now basically 30 points. Yeah, this map's kind of unfortunate. If you're Robert, you're probably sitting there thinking, all right, warm up or no warm up. I really wish I hadn't done a warm up because I'm probably losing all my confidence considering I'm losing by 30 points in this warm up match. 40 points now, with 2 minutes 30 to go. At this pace, Endy will win by 80. So, now of course Endy is very good. You know, there's no knock on Robert, and this isn't. You know, clearly he said he doesn't like this map, so I'm no knock on him, obviously. And he misses that yellow. He's gonna grab the one drum down there. Lead sitting at 44 with 2 minutes to play. And another blue back at the same one that Endy grabbed from earlier. And it's another blue. I think, yeah, it's 4-2 on blues in favor of Endy. I don't know if you watched out the KO Mazik match earlier, but when they played Sprawl, and Mazik ended with 1 blue gem to KO's 6, but won by over 30, I believe. So this map is interesting because of the fact that even with a bunch of blues, you're still not gonna even if you get a bunch of blues, you still might not even come close. I don't know, I thought that was pretty funny. Kago just running around, just grabbing the blues and doing nothing else. I watched that one live in person. It was quite sad. And Endy took my thing about, you know, maybe making this an 80-point win a little too literally for my liking here. This is getting ugly. The lead is 75. So, sorry, make that over 80 now. This is an 80-point lead. He's going to pop that gyro, but he didn't need to. Kind of preempted it there. Yikes, this match has not been very fun to watch. It's almost a 90-point lead now. It's another blue, and Endy's going to win. Oh, no, he's not. He's going to screw it up. But Robert misses too because he doesn't expect Endy to miss. So Endy ends up getting it anyway. And the lead is almost to 100. The lead's now 100. This is pretty ugly. There goes Endy. Oh my gosh, what an edge hit, wall hit there to get back right on top of the gems. And yikes. That was a pretty insanely lopsided match. So it's going to be Robert's pick first, and I'm assuming he wants to stay as far away from Sprawl as possible. So yes, lucky for Robert, that match did not count. Start with Skate Park Square. If I can find it, there it is. Skate Park Square. So this is an interesting map. If it's any shirts, I hate this map. So this might just be back and forth, people hating maps that get picked, but we'll see what happens. It is officially time for the fourth play-in match of the tournament. Let me spectate. I'm not playing. And we are underway here in the play-ins. Remember, this is for the right to face the winner of Yoshi Craft versus Bobarica. And already we're even still, 4-4 after the first spawn. Robert's going to get up to the next spawn up on the tower pretty well there. Let's see if he stays down. He's not going to stay up there. He probably should have. And then he's not going to be able to grab that yellow cleanly. He's going to have to go back for it. Endy already off to the next spawn. He's very quick. Endy is a very quick player. Really, you cannot try to outpace him. If you are playing against him, you have to try to interfere with him another way. It's another tower spawn. We'll see how they choose to get up to it. They're both going to go for the pipe method of getting up to the tower. Robert falls off. Endy's going to grab the last one, open the lead back up to 10, in a super speed off to the next spawn. Robert is late arriving, so Endy's going to get the meat and potatoes of that spawn there. Robert first to the next spawn, but kind of messes up the landing, and Endy with a nice blast there to grab both yellows. Very well done there. Leads 15. He's going to miss that yellow. Robert's going to get it. He's going to use the blast to get up to one of the reds. And he's going to use his super speed, perhaps ill-advised, to get the last red there when he probably could have held that and been first to the next spawn too. Robert's going to miss that yellow, trying to win on the rebound. Lead 17 now towards Endy with just over 3 minutes left to play. Not really sure where Endy just went, but he definitely was somewhere else. And Robert's going to be able to take advantage and get this lead back down to 10. We do have a blue here. It's going to be our first blue of the match. And it's going to go to Robert, so the lead is now just 5. They're going to split. I thought they were going to split that last one. They didn't end up splitting that last one. It went to Endy, so lead 6. And a great super speed there from Endy to grab both of those yellows in midair. Robert's going to try for the blast. I don't think it came off properly, so he didn't quite get Endy pushed away there. And Endy is quickly rebounding from losing out on that blue. Very well done there. The amount of control he ended up with to end up directly on the platform. No real bounces or wasted movement. Lead up to 24. With just over 2 minutes ago. So this was briefly, for a second there, this game looked pretty competitive, but Endy kind of immediately sat back up again the moment it got close. I don't know if that's just a matter of um, Robert not Robert just not being able to maintain the momentum after coming back, you know, because I feel like people do use a lot of energy to come back, and he's not going to make that jump, and Endy is. Yeah, if you're gonna try to make that jump, you have to have blast. You can't just make it with a jump and a super jump. He, Robert does blast Endy back there, but they're gonna for the most part split that spawn pretty evenly. Endy, nice landing there. The lead is 31. And Robert's going to go use the half pipe to get up to the next one up top. And again, another split spawn. But if you're Robert, you do not have time to keep splitting spawns like this. You have to start finding ways to really get ahead here. Nice try on the double super speed. He ends up getting it after all. I definitely wasn't sure he would. So that spawn's going to cut into the lead just a little bit, and then Endy does a great job of using that using that ultra blast to get to the super jump first, but he ends up hitting his head instead, and kind of screwing it up. I don't see 20 points in 25 seconds here from Robert, and he overshoots that, and Robert wasn't expecting the overshoot, so he didn't even bother going for that. Bother going for that yellow, and there's a blue, but it's right by Endy, and that should seal it here. It's going to be 1-0 to Endy as we head to Nuremberg for his pick. And yeah, Robert's off exploring again. So pretty good first game though. As we head back to Nuremberg. We'll see if someone, jumps the gun to host. Yep. All right, join. So it'll be interesting to see what Endy picked here. I think I know how he plays pretty well, and yeah, Marble City, not a bad pick. Definitely thought Marble City was in beginner though. What the? Am I blind?
It is in beginner.
Okay, yeah, no, I am blind. Don't worry about it. See what happens when I turn off my shader pack. Now I can't even find the map. Probably could have just used the good old search function if I really wanted to. And so it is 1-0 to Endy heading into game 2 here at Marble City. Robert being very cordial, saying good luck, and he's saying thank you too, and we are underway.
Set. Go.
Both players are going to spawn down below here. Split the first two. Nice blast there from both players. They're trying to push each other away. Robert's going to pop that mega and grab an ultra blast. It's going to spawn right by Robert here. Kind of nice for him, but he falls off instead of being able to turn around and really press that advantage home. It's going to go underneath here, even though most of the value of that spawn was down below. And now we're over to the side area where I swear 90% of the spawns in this map end up being. Is if to prove my point, here's a double spawn on it. And Endy is already pushed it to a 10-point lead with just under a minute played. We have our first blue. And Endy with a nice snipe there. Gonna push the lead up to 15. And like I said, the one thing about Endy is that he is extremely quick. Yeah, you cannot. Robert really trying to get physical with him now. Just make it so that he can't really be quick. Just kind of get in his way and Ultra Blast as much as possible, because that's really the only way to stop him. Because if you try to go pace for pace with him, it's just not going to work. Especially, I think if you are a player that doesn't necessarily do as well with faster paced games. Um, and Robert has done a decent job in this past minute or so of getting in Endy's way, and he has cut into that lead just a little bit, and he blasts Endy off there, but Endy is able to respawn up top, so it's not all is lost for Endy there. And I think they both end up with the blast. They do. So bad landing there from Robert, so Endy's able to pick up that yellow anyway. And Endy is off to the races to the next spawn. It's not a super valuable spawn, and he kind of screws up his landing as well, so it doesn't matter. Robert opts not to pick up that last red. It's going to spawn right next to both players, so they're going to split that spawn pretty evenly. It is another spawn over to this right side of the map. Lead still hanging around 5 here for Endy. And we are headed into the second half of this game. Endy up 7. He's going to go grab the yellow there. He's also going to get to that yellow. And then Robert's actually going to be able to dive bomb most of the rest of that spawn, though. So that's looking pretty good for him. I'm not sure if Endy just missed or if Robert blasted there. But if Robert did blast, and that's very good blast usage there. And this game is pretty neck and neck. Actually, Robert has him within 3 now. They're both sitting right by the next spawn, but Endy's going to get to it first. Just under 2 minutes to play. Nice super speed there from Robert, but it goes just a little bit too far, so Endy's able to pick up the pieces. Endy, I believe, super speeded off the map, and then Robert wasn't able to collect any of the avail gems afterwards. There goes Endy again. Nice little wall hit turnaround to grab that yellow. It's going to go down. The next one's down below, but it's going to be that fabled 3-point gem there for Robert. This game is a lot closer than the skate park square match was. Definitely a more entertaining match. It's a spawn down below. Endy has pushed it up to about 15 points now, so looking good for him. Robert is trying to get stuck under the map, I think. I don't know what's going on there. Next spawn is going to be pretty convenient for both players, but slightly better for Endy because of that blast. And nice snipe there from Robert. It is just about a 10-point lead. Next spawn is going to be back across the map. We'll see if this blast play here from Robert ends up cooking up a little harder than he needs to. And then he's going to get back across as well. But Endy with great control there to not get too far over himself and lose out on those gems. It is going to be another victory for Endy, as he's going to push the series to 2-0. We're going to head back to Hillsboro. And it's going to be a 14-point win for Endy here. Very well played, though, from both players. And as you can see, it was actually the yellows that did Robert in there. Endy doing a very good job of finding the value in those spawns as opposed to just going for sheer volume. So we are heading back to Hillsboro for Robert's second pick. And now I've always been a little bit concerned when a player goes down 3-0, because then you start wondering, how they're going to play in that fourth game. Are they going to just go, balls to the wall, or are they just going to, are they just going to kind of let the pressure get to them and they're just going to fold? I'm hoping, for the series and entertainment's sake, that Robert's able to take at least one game in this series, and I think if it's going to be any of them, it's going to be this one. Triple Trail has been a tricky map for some people. The pathing on it can be a little difficult because sometimes you're sitting there, you're thinking, do I want to use a teleporter? Do I just want to use the cannons? Do I want to use a power-up to get across? It's a lot of choices that you have to make in such a short time. It's a 345 map. As I highlighted last time I commentated a match with Triple Trail, so not a super duper long map by any means compared to
Ready,
some of the other maps that are available. We
set,
have a blue spawn straight off the bat.
go.
Both players are going to start out on the blue island. And Robert is going to start off by falling on the ground, and he's going to be able to go and grab that blue gem to himself. Both players going to opt for a power-up to get across, both super jumping. Nice blast there from Robert. He's going to be able to grab the majority of that spawn and then get back across here using the cannon. Both players, because of the way the cannon works, end up a little bit further than where they want to. They're going to split that yellow, but the lead's back down to 3 now. All red spawn on the blue island. And it's going to spawn right on top of Robert here. So he's able to cut into the lead. We have another blue, but Robert chokes. Robert chokes. He falls in a pit. There's another blue on the next spawn. We'll see how Robert chooses to get over there. If he's able to beat Endy. He does beat Endy, so he doesn't quite get punished as nearly as badly as he should have for messing that up. And he's going to opt for the teleporter there. Smart play, gets across just a little bit ahead of Endy. And the lead is now 4. We'll see where the next spawn is. The next spawn is going to be up and across on the pink island. Both players trying to get to that blue first. It's going to go to Robert. Very well done there. Endy able to get the most of the next spawn because of the fact that it spawned right on top of him. Nice little gyro here from Robert to get across first. Endy uses the Mega as a super speed to get across instantly. And then grab most of the rest of that value. The lead's pushed back up to 10 now. It's been pretty neck and neck all game, but the lead's currently 10, and he's going to opt for the teleporter there and then use the Mega as a super jump to get up to the next part. We'll see if Robert's going to opt for the super jump and then respawn abuse, and he does get it, but not nearly as much time saved as I think he would have wanted. Endy going to be a little bit behind here because he didn't have a power-up to get back across with. And Robert didn't see him coming. He did have that blast lined up if he wanted it, but he chose not to go for it. Robert sent pretty far by Endy's blast. So the lead is sitting 15 with about a minute left to play. Next spawn's going to be on the blue island, and he's going to opt for a super jump and then blast usage to get to the yellow. Robert went for the cannon. We have another blue. It's the, I believe, I'm not sure if that's the same blue spawn as the first one. I don't think it is. But it's the same general area. It's over on the yellow island, and it's going to go to Endy. So the lead is a solid 20 points now. And Robert preempts the next spawn, hoping it's going to be not on this island. He popped the gyro, but he didn't need to. And he's not going to land that either. So this has not been very fun for Robert, I'm sure. This should results hold the way they have been so far. This will be the first sweep of the play-ins so far. If Endy, of course, assuming Endy wins the next spot, the next map. Nice edge hit there from at the end. Actually, that was very well done by him. If it mattered more, if the score were closer, then that would have been cooler. But still very nice. So we head back to Nuremberg. Potentially for the last time, actually. Obviously don't want to jinx either player here, but we'll see what happens. Okay, we're just going to await Endy's pick. I suspect he's going to go for something where he can emphasize his speed. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to dip Terrace Tundra. Okay, not the map I would have expected from him, but I believe this is a map he is pretty good at nonetheless. There he is, 10th overall with a 193 once, and then uh, Robert's 25th with 173. So this is clearly a map he's comfortable with. Um, and we shall see how this potential game point plays out here as we head down the wire here. Because if you're Robert, this is
Ready,
for your season.
set,
This is the end if you
go.
don't find a win. And already he's falling down a bit. And Endy's going to jump out to a quick lead. Double spawn here. Kind of favors Robert in the end. We do have our first blue. And Robert hits the lip and goes up and misses. He had Endy beat by a lot, but he just couldn't quite get there. We have a second blue gem, and Robert hits the lip again, and it gets stolen by Endy again. This is looking a lot like what I was witnessing when I watched Kago versus Mazik, where just I think there's a little bit of nerves involved, obviously, because you don't want your season to be over, and you're trying to make plays a little too fast, and you're not staying calm, and you start missing out on those blue gems. Because of it, because you're just hitting the little lips, you're edge hitting when you don't want to, you're doing, just silly stuff. But it does just come down to nerves. It is a 12-point lead in the favor of Endy now with 2:45 left to play. And those two blues looming large right now because of the way. And another blue, I don't know if he did not get that blue either. Oh man, this is tough to watch. It's the worst feeling. It's the worst feeling. And Endy grabs that blue as well. It is all Endy right now. He's looking quite comfortable on this map. Those blues, of course, just looming large on Robert right now. It's another blue, and Endy's gonna miss. And I don't think Robert realized Endy had missed, so Endy's able to go and pick it up on the respawn. I do think Robert had the time if he wanted to go get it. It is a 30-point lead, just under 2 to play. As we head into the latter part of this game 4 match point here for Endy. It's really season point here for Robert. This is obviously play in, so this is potentially Robert's final game. And if you're Robert, you really don't want this to be the end, obviously. So I would not be surprised if we start seeing him go for some crazy gamble plays. But of course, Endy plays very calm, very cool, very collected. It's going to be hard to rattle him. Robert's realizing he kind of has to go for these last gems. He can't leave him behind and let the timer run and try to go play position just because there's just no time for it. It's going to spawn closer to Robert here, but Endy once again faster. And we have another blue. We'll see who gets to it first. It's going to be Endy because, oh god. Robert kind of overshot that one as well and hit the lip. Yeah, so right now it is 6-0 for Endy on blues. And really that's kind of been the story of the match. Because even if, wow, what an edge hit there. What an edge hit. Kind of just showing off. I don't know what he did that for, but he did it anyway. Yeah, no. Anyway, so it's currently a 40-point lead. Robert's going to cut into it just a tiny little bit here, maybe make it a little more respectable looking, but it's pretty lopsided match for Endy here, and those blues really are going to haunt Robert here because, that 30-point, it's a 30-point swing here. It's a 60-point swing if you think about it. So, yeah. So, first sweep of the play-ins. Endy looked pretty comfortably in front the whole time. Yeah, Robert did play well. I will say that there were definitely times where I thought he was going to keep it much closer. Um, and so, thank everybody for coming out. And I hope to see you all next time.